Ladies and gentlemen, mainly gentlemen, Birds in the Trap MMA back at it again, and we are going to react to the fire news that the UFC has just released. Now, before we get into that, I want to say my bad for not making a video on the fight night that just happened, Rosenstrike versus Almeida. I was very busy that day. I did watch it though, so I'll give my brief thoughts on that at the end of this, okay? But we got a lot to talk about here, okay? Just look at this lineup on the screen, okay? I'm back on the slideshows. I think this one deserved it, so I made a slideshow. But we got the BMF title on the line. We have 2 championship belts on the line, and that's just what we know so far. These cards aren't even done yet. 291 is looking pretty done, but 292 is looking like it still has some work to be done, but it already has 2 title fights. So, oh, and as you can see here, I said they announced it today, probably to shit on Ngannou's news. I guarantee you, if he didn't announce that he was signing with the PFL today, which is its own discussion, but I don't really want to make a video on it. I feel like enough people have done it already. And I don't have anything too interesting to say about it. I don't think it's a good move. But I think it's a good move in terms of money. Like, he's going to get the money he wants, but should have fought John Jones. Okay, but that's besides the point. Let's get into it, okay? UFC 291. Guys, I was really worried that this card was being, like, way overlooked. You know, I was like, okay, they're saying August is going to be 292, but July 8th is 290. We're doing 2 in July. What's 291 going to be? So I was worried we weren't going to really have anything too crazy, but I was wrong, and thank God I was, because this is quite the lineup. Let's start from the bottom up, okay? Stephen Thompson versus Michel Pereira, okay? This was scheduled for 289, and they're just rebooking it here, so I'm happy to see it. There should be a over-under for Michel Pereira to do a backflip in there, because I'm sure against a flashy guy like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, they're going to want to put on a show. But I like this fight. I like Stephen Thompson in it. That's probably my early prediction. But yeah, that's on the prelims, okay? So a great prelim fight. That is main card worthy, but the main card is just so stacked. I like to see this, okay? Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's getting right back in there, fighting Michael Chiesa, who was supposed to fight Li Jingliang, but Lee pulled out at UFC 287. So, you know, he's getting back in there with Kevin Holland. I'm going to take Kevin Holland. This isn't a prediction video, obviously, but, like, just my early thoughts. Like, I look at this and I lean towards Kevin Holland. And then Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. Thank God Tony Ferguson is done fighting the Murderers Row at lightweight, because he fought Gaethje, Oliveira, Dariush, and Chandler. Those are lethal names. He lost to all of them, and then he lost to Nate Diaz too, which is like, oh fuck. But he's fighting Bobby Green, so this is more of a fun fight, you know. Winnable for both. Obviously Tony's been on the slide, but I really hope he goes out with a win. I hope this is his last fight. Win or lose, I want him to retire. And you know what? Maybe same for Bobby Green. This could be a double retirement, and I wouldn't mind it. All right. Moving up the card is Paulo Costa versus Ikram Aleskarov. Why the fuck are we doing this? What the fuck? Like, come on. Paulo Costa and Khamzat Chimaev. What is Khamzat Chimaev doing with his life? What is he doing? Did USADA get him? Is that something? What's going on? Like, he's been talking about this move to middleweight. Him and Paulo Costa have been chatting shit online, but now Paulo Costa is fighting the Dollar Tree Khamzat Chimaev. You know what I mean? This guy gave Khamzat Chimaev his toughest fight before the UFC, before Gilbert Burns, but still, I don't know why we're doing this fight. And another thing that I kind of thought of is, why are Paulo Costa and Sean Strickland both getting these unranked guys who have one fight in the UFC? Why aren't Paulo Costa and Sean Strickland fighting each other? That's a fucking fun fight that's way more compelling than this. You know what I mean? So that's a little ridiculous to me. I think they're just trying to get some new blood at the top of the middleweight division. But as far as a winner, I don't know. I think Paulo Costa is really overrated. But also, I mean, Ikram Aleskerov's best accomplishment is losing to Chimaev, but putting up a fight. You know what I mean? Like, he still got KO'd in the fight. So, it is what it is. The co-main event, Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira. The two guys that have beat Adesanya. Alright, guys. I do not like this fight because I love both of these guys. Both of these guys are in my, like, honestly, top 5 favorite fighters as far as, like, personality goes and, like, how much I like guys. Like, these guys are up there. Not saying they're the best out right now, but, like, you know, personally, they're top 5, top 10 of my favorite fighters, and it just sucks that one of them is gonna have to lose. But I would like Alex Pereira to win because I want him to get the light heavyweight belt because I love Alex Pereira. But guys, this card is in Salt Lake City, and actually the arena we're using in the background is Salt Lake City Arena. So what you see in the background is where they'll be fighting. But, you know, this is at very high elevation. And we saw, last time they were here, we saw Paulo Costa, who's on the card again. We saw him gas against Luke Rockhold, who also gassed. You know, the only person who thrived on that card was Usman, who trains at elevation with Justin Gaethje. Which I guess is a perfect transition into the main event of Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje 2. I knew that they were going to do this. I didn't know it'd be a pay-per-view headliner, but I'm okay with it being one. Am I okay with the BMF belt? All right. I don't know why we're doing this again. I don't think the thing should be contested a ton. And, you know, I know this is only the second time they're doing it, and they're only doing it because Masvidal retired. As long as they do it this event and then never again, or at least until one of them retires, I'm cool with it. But I don't want it to be like a reoccurring belt that's on the line. Like, no, just get out of here. You know what I mean? But Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje 2, okay? I like Dustin Poirier a lot more than I like Justin Gaethje. But I think that they are both completely different fighters from their first fight. I mean, I think we all know that. I think they're both going to be a little smarter. And I see a lot of people saying Gaethje, but I'm sticking with Dustin Poirier. Early prediction, like, you know, I'm going to have to rewatch tape, rewatch their first fight. But, like, just looking at this, like, I hope Dustin wins, and I think he will. But, yeah, this is a fire card. Arguably better than 290. You know, 290 has title fights, so I guess that, like, kind of holds it over this one. But this card is insane, man. Just like I said, the only thing I don't like is that it's in Salt Lake City. Like, I have a big fear that all my favorite fighters who are on this card, which is Stephen Thompson, Kevin Holland, Tony Ferguson, Paulo Costa, Pereira, and Dustin, I just feel like, because those are all who I'm picking, I feel like they're all going to gas out. You know what I mean? I just hope they know to get there early. Like now, early. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is set for, I think, July 29th. So yeah, absolutely beautiful card. I love this. Yeah, let's talk about the next one. Now, UFC 292 is in Boston. We only have 2 fights announced so far, but they are both championship bouts. I'm surprised they got Sterling to turn around so quick. I thought he was gonna hold out until September, but since he's saying yes, I'm sure he's good to go. You know, I'm sure he isn't too injured, and I'm sure he'll have his weight under control, and I'm sure they're compensating him quite a bit, you know, because they want their golden boy O'Malley to win. But early prediction, like I said this before, Aljamain Sterling said this, and it's why I'm saying it. Sterling should fold him up like a lawn chair. You know what I mean? That's what I'd hope for. But still, bantamweight title fight. Let's go. I like it. Aljo's being active. And people always shit on Aljo saying he's not an active champion. And I'm like, guys, come on. Like, between UFC 259 and 273, like, yeah, he took like a year and a month. But, I mean, other than that, he fought twice in 2022. You know, granted, one of them was against a one-armed Dillashaw. And then he's already fought once this year. He's going to fight again in August. Like, this guy is getting his defenses out, you know? And I like that. And then, Zhang Weili is going to fight Amanda Lemos. I thought it was going to be Yan Xiaonan, who's coming off of a first-round knockout over Jessica Andrade. But they went with Lemos, which I still think is a good pick. I still think that Yan Xiaonan is going to fight for the belt eventually. But, you know, they're doing this one. And good timing, too, because literally just a few days ago, I was like, yo, where has Weili been? Like, she didn't take much damage when she won the belt. Like, let's get some defenses on that record, you know? So, with that being said, that's the only two so far for this card. Those are the only ones on the UFC website. But, I mean, I am liking it. You know what I mean? Like, these are both really good cards. That's all I really have to say about those cards. Now let's talk about Rosenstruck versus Almeida, which took place. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. There's only a few fights I really cared about on here. You guys know that if you've been watching the channel. But I watched Ian Gary versus D-Rod. I thought it was at least going to go to a decision. I thought Ian Gary was going to win. I wanted D-Rod to win. But Ian Gary got the first round head kick KO, TKO. So good for him. And it's looking like he's as good as he says he is, you know? So if he can keep it up, I want to see him go far. And I like the Magny fight if Magny wins. Yeah, good fight. Johnny Walker versus Anthony Smith. Sorry, guys. Got a little excited there because Johnny Walker beat Anthony Smith fair and square. And I really wanted him to win that because Anthony Smith is just kind of cringe to me. And I think he's very easy to not like. You know, just with all his on-paper wins. And, you know, he's the best fighter if every fight was 3 rounds. And he just, you know, thinks he's a top-level guy when I just don't really see it, you know. So Johnny Walker leg kicked the shit out of him, and he had like kind of a knockdown. It's not credited as one, but like we know in that first round he was fucking Anthony Smith up, but then Anthony Smith got a takedown, so fair play. But yeah, I had it 29-28 Walker. I actually did give Smith most of the second round. Like, I think it's kind of a swing round, it can go either way. And then Jailton Almeida versus Jairzinho Rosenstruck. I'm not surprised by this at all. Heavyweight sucks at grappling. And, you know, the light heavyweight, top 5. If y'all start going on a losing streak, go up and try heavyweight. Because this guy's showing that, being Almeida, when I say this guy, you know, he's showing that the guys don't have grappling, you know? Jairzinho Rosenstruck was number 9. So, I mean, it's looking good for him, Almeida. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Not too much to say about it, which is why I didn't make a huge video. But yeah, I mean, just to end this off, this card, 291 and 292 are looking absolutely insane. Just wanted to get this video out and talk about it. Yeah, I can't wait to break these down more as we get closer, and I'll see you guys fight week for both of them. Bye.